I have a second channel, Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody, here looking at my Acer Aspire 1 532H netbook that I've had for quite a few years now. This was not the one that I got back when I was in high school. This was actually given to me by somebody else. And I did some minor repairs to it, including the keyboard and things like that. We're going to do a little experiment today. We're going to try to install Android x86 Oreo on this thing. And I have it loaded onto a flash drive. We're going to see if we can make a netbook great again. The thing with these old netbooks is, like if you're trying to run Windows 10 on them, for example, it's just really slow. And of course, Windows 7 is not going to be supported much longer. So you get the idea. So, I'm gonna pop this in here and let's see what we get. I'll be honest, you know that a machine hasn't had much use when the USB ports are really tight. Okay. Let's see if this will go more smoothly than my attempt to install Android x86 TV on a different machine. That was it's kind of a long story, but anyways. This netbook does a little weird behavior when I get into an installer. The screen will come back in a moment. Or I might have to move the... There we are. So right now, so essentially right now this drive has an unknown partition on it. That was a problem I was having with the Android TV installer. Kind of a long story, but let's see here if I can format DXT4 using this. Seems I have no problem. So I'm already getting an idea of what I might do for the Android TV project that I'm working on. So let's see if this will format, and we'll come back when it's done. Okay, like literally right as I pressed the stop record button, it finished. So yes, we do want to install the bootloader grub. Yes, we do want to install it as read-write. And let's select run Android x86, or actually no, reboot. I'm going to pull the flash drive out, and let's see if this thing will start up. And we are already getting a lot further now than I was in the previous attempt that I did with the Android TV 7.1. So as I mentioned earlier, when you put Windows 10 on one of these Atom netbooks, it makes it really freaking slow. And I figured Android, being an operating system that is typically like on your phones and tablets, I'd be curious to see how something like this would run on this kind of hardware. So I downloaded this image straight from the Android x86 website. It's a 32-bit image. This might take a little while to boot up. Here we are. This is like setting up a phone. Let's connect to Wi-Fi. So it looks like we are hooked up to Wi-Fi, and up here you can maybe you'll see the battery charge indicator. I would think this would probably run better if the machine had a solid state drive, but I'm sure many of you have watched my video of putting a SSD into a netbook and running Windows 10. It wasn't much faster on an SSD than it was with a conventional hard disk. So right now this thing does have a conventional hard drive installed. So yeah. I wouldn't expect this to be the fastest, but I'm just curious to see what we would get. Okay, here we are. I'm going to say set up as new. Yeah, it's just like setting up a phone or tablet. I'm going to skip this for now. I may sign into my Google account on this later on. I'm just going to say Nick. I'll just leave everything as default. So here's one more thing to set up your AO532H. That's the model of the machine. No thanks. Let's just choose Launcher 3 for now. And here we are. And these are the default installed apps that you get with this flavor of Android x86. Yeah, I guess the touchpad driver on this is probably not the best. Oh great, System UI has stopped. Like I say, these are not perfect by any means. Let's see, do we have a camera app? It looks like we don't have a camera app right now. Let's try going on the internet. And there we are. Here's our internet. Hit no thanks on that. I'll deal with that later. And of course, this thing does have the YouTube app on it as well. And if you notice, it loads stuff up in mobile, the mobile version. And really, to be honest, I would kind of prefer that it would use the desktop variant of everything, but there may be something I have to configure on that. This thing is very touchy with its with the touchpad. Here we go. Request desktop site. That's all we got to do. And there's the familiar desktop site. And there we are. You know, I can't say for certain if this is running any faster than it would if I was running like Windows 7 or Windows 10, but I think I can say that the experience overall is better. I do think Android x86 does seem to breathe some new life into an old netbook like this. Now, for example, video playback, I would not expect to be all that great. Let's see if scroll works. Yep, scroll works. I'm going to say that it seems like things are working well. Let me see. It's actually trying to zoom me in a little bit. So guys, if you didn't know, this is actually my first time even experimenting around with this. Let's try to watch a video. Let's see if we have any sound, because I haven't heard any sound yet. We do have sound. Let's see if the volume buttons work on this thing. Yeah, they do. Hey everybody. This show we're replacing the infinite heat switch on this Frigidaire range. This is a Frigidaire model FEFL79DSL electric range. Let me pause this for a second. The steps I'll be doing in this video. So, right now I think it's playing in, let's see, what resolution? 360p. Now this thing, I'm curious. Let's step it up a little bit, see what I can do. It might not be able. Well, this video are going to be very similar to other models and probably other brands as well. So a lot of times the reason why you'll need to replace this switch, and it's the switch that goes behind these knobs, is because let's say you try to turn on a burner and you get nothing. That's pretty common. But mine has failed. It is taking a bit of time to respond. Where it sometimes sticks on. So I'll sit here cooking supper the other night, and I had it set on about 7 or 8. And it looks like it's doing stuff in the background. Yeah, it's Google Play Store downloading stuff. So it does have all the, looks like it does have all the Google Play services built in. That's interesting to see. So yeah, this netbook cannot really play anything over 480p. I'm just going to try. Let's see if it'll do 720. Probably can't. So as you see, it plays, but there's a lot of lag. So yeah, same old Netbook performance as far as video playback goes, but let's see here. Let's try just browsing the web a little bit. For example, weather.com. And you see, stuff does still take a bit of time to load. Matter of fact, it just thought I clicked on something. Yeah. I will say this. You gotta be careful with the touchpad. Especially if you're browsing like a website like eBay or Amazon or any e-commerce site where there's like an add to cart or buy it now option. Gotta be careful because you wouldn't want to accidentally click something like that. As you see, I'm trying to look up my location and it's just, yeah, it's definitely taking its time. It's struggling. I'll say that. It's But let's see what happens if I go back to default where it loads everything up on mobile. Now it's loading the Washington, D.C. monthly weather. Okay. No, it's actually going to a new page. It's still loading in desktop. Now, there's one thing I'm noticing is that Android x86 seems to be making better use of this netbook's small resolution screen. It's not a very big screen. Normally, websites will be very crammed on this screen, but it's actually scaling stuff down a bit smaller than what it normally would. But yeah, let's say, for example, we'll say this, weather.com has become a bit more resource intensive these days. It's not like it used to be. Seems like this page is loading a little bit better. Let me use the arrow keys to navigate to the site. Again, we're still limited by the netbook's rather slow CPU, but that's because web standards have changed quite a bit over the years since these things came out. Let's go back to the home screen. I'm going to say always on this now. Now, for example, if I click to look at, so here we are, there's Chrome. I go and close Chrome. Gallery. I remember I tried to load gallery. The mouse cursor clicked gallery when I was trying to browse through all this stuff earlier. Now, before we do anything else, let's have a look at the settings that you get on this thing. There's our storage, what's been used and what's not been used. So obviously it's very similar to a tablet. Yeah, this thing is not, well, as mentioned, the touchpad is a little finicky. Apparently it thinks I'm using a Pixel. There it's reporting the battery, 80% and 20 minutes until fully charged. So it seems to be integrating pretty well with this machine. I'll say that. It would take me some time to really dig in and mess around with stuff, but like I say, the touchpad is quite touchy on this thing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish setting this up with a Google account. That way I can do a little more stuff with it just to play around with. Okay, so now I'm signed into my Google account and I'm now in the Google Play Store. And I'm going to actually go ahead and download some stuff. For example, I'll go ahead and fetch Firefox. See what else I want to get on this thing. I'll go and get, go ahead and download the Weather Channel app. See how the mobile app works on this versus the website. I'm going to get Facebook. Some of these apps I'm not going to show on video. I'm curious to see how they'll run. I'm going to search for a few things. I'm going to download a camera app to see if the built-in webcam will function. So this is an interesting little task. Is a test rather, as I'm downloading multiple apps and it seems like it's handling it okay. I'm going to hit back. I guess I'll also fetch Instagram as well. And what will be interesting about this, guys, is, you know, Instagram, there's no official way to upload photos and videos from a computer running Windows 10, unless you have a touchscreen. But I'm curious to see. Now, my thing is, I'm just looking for the actual Instagram app, and then I'm not seeing it right away. That's interesting. Maybe it's able to determine what kind of device I'm running, and whether it has a touchscreen. That's really it's really weird. I'll just say that. Unfortunately, I don't have any any like laptops or whatever with a touchscreen, so I couldn't really test them with Android x86 to see what they do. See, that's the thing, is when I'm trying to scroll, it looks like it wants to select items. That's kind of odd. So if I click up here, you'll see it's downloading stuff. It's successfully installed Firefox and weather.com. So if I hit home, and you can see I'm starting to get apps on my home screen. Let's launch the Weather Channel app and see how it does. And as mentioned, I know I apologize if I keep repeating stuff, but it's interesting to be able to run mobile apps on a netbook. It really is. The only thing, of course, is you don't have cellular data, you just have Wi-Fi. Now, the thing is, it's going to probably say I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. The thing is, Spectrum in this area, everybody in this county, Mecklenburg County, who has Spectrum, whether they're in Huntersville, which is like many miles away from the Spectrum main head and office in South Charlotte, it still considers, like, just based off the internet, considers our location as being in South Charlotte. So just for example, I have this old Motorola Droid Razr M. Oh, it did actually pick up my location right. It must have used my phone as my location. But as I was saying, my phone, it's an older Droid Razr M that I have rooted and unlocked, and it's running Android 6. And it's getting quite dated. Certain apps just don't run very well on it. And I will say that it seems like this is running some apps better. I forgot to mention, this machine does have 2 gigs of RAM in it. It doesn't have the stock 1 gig of memory. I did increase it to 2 gigs at one point. So, this is what you get when you launch the app, and it's pretty much be the same as you were running a tablet. And here is the 10 or 15 day forecast. And like I say, it's the touchpad again. It's just really touchy. So I'm gonna get out of this. This is a little bug with this operating system, is the system UI tends to crash and it reloads. And once it reloads, you can actually go in and close stuff out. Kind of annoying, but not too big of a deal. Yeah, I'm curious. I thought I was downloading the camera earlier, but apparently it has not. It keeps stopping. System UI keeps stopping. What happens if I close it? Oh, no, it reloads. Okay, so it reloads. Alright. Let's go back and figure out what happened to the camera. I thought I did click install. Or maybe I didn't. Waiting for download, okay. Let me just hit cancel. and try it again. Wait for this to get installed, and we'll resume once it's done, or if it fails or whatever. Okay, looks like Open Camera has installed, as well as Facebook. Let's launch Open Camera and see what it does. See if it works with the built-in webcam. It's asking me to allow. And it does. As you see, the webcam is functional. Yes, it's your typical 640 by 480 webcam. That was pretty common for 2008, 2009, that time period when these netbooks were really coming out. So that's cool to see that it actually works. It's rather interesting, I'll say that. And here's all the different camera controls and all that good stuff. It keeps crashing. That seems to really be the only real issue with this thing, is the System UI app. It keeps crashing. So far, that seems to be about the only bug I have come across on this thing. Okay, so I did figure out why Instagram wasn't available. It was because Instagram is locked only to certain devices, and it said this device was not compatible, blah blah blah. Yes, that's unfortunate. Anyways, like for example, one thing that's kind of aggravating is trying to navigate the home screen. It's just, you have to carefully drag across the touchpad to get it to go. Sometimes it won't go. I figured to wrap this up, let's go ahead and have a look at the YouTube app. The YouTube app does seem to run pretty well on this. Now, I can't say it for video playback, but the app itself does seem to load pretty quickly and is pretty easy to navigate. And of course, CubeComp MTDX still is not in a recommended list when you search for it. So, for example, visit the channel. And here we are. As you see, stuff loads pretty quick. It's my first time trying to watch a video on here. Gotta get past the advertisement. Now it's gonna load the thing yet.
So this is one of the really early prototypes where we're playing around with like the folding mechanism, which you can see is a bunch of hinges.
Skip ad. And let's see how it plays the video itself. Kind of choppy. That's the fault of this netbook. It's not the app itself. Seems like it's trying to play it in a higher resolution than what this thing can support.
This video I'm going to talk about bicycling at night. So recently I started doing videos on nighttime bike rides. Ever since I got my action camera, which is right there.
So that means I gotta figure out look. That's the only thing is, I'm dragging down. I think that's how you would go back in the app. It's like, oh, there we are. And now it's just trying to go to a different video. Turn autoplay off. Like I say, this netbook cannot do anything that's really intensive, like watching videos, and that's kind of sad to say that watching videos would be something resource intensive. But on a netbook, that's exactly what it is. Like I say, it's the experience overall is not too bad, but like I say, this touchpad is probably the most annoying thing about this whole experience. Like, I'm not even clicking on stuff and it thinks I'm clicking on stuff. And like, for example, this right here. It's obviously it's like Windows 8, for example. You know, Windows 8 was really oriented for touch, so it's kind of aggravating trying to navigate through the interface with a keyboard and mouse. So let's see if I can get back to the what I was hoping to find was settings. I don't use the YouTube app that much. Anyways, I think we've gone far enough as it is. And look, System UI crashed again. Like I say, it's definitely not perfect by any means. Oh, YouTube has stopped. Okay, that's fine. I was going to close it anyway. Well, guys, that's it for this one. But it doesn't have to be. There's plenty more videos on the channel to check out. Also, if you liked the video, please click the like button. And if you absolutely hated it, there is the alternative button as well. But yeah, please subscribe to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. And remember to click the bell so that we get notified of all updates. Also, if you're interested in things aside from computers and technology, check out my second channel. It's CubeComp MTDX. Over there you'll find videos about weather, elevators, bicycling, and pretty much whatever else I figure out to upload. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for your support.